Welcome to Chapter 7. In this chapter, we'll be exploring force fields. We'll learn about the various types of force fields available in Blender and how to use them. Let's get started. Alrighty guys, as we talk about force fields, I want to go ahead and talk about three really important things: strength, flow, and shape. So these three things are going to really affect the way that our particle simulations or our physics simulations actually look and react. So first of all, strength is pretty self-explanatory. That is just the strength of the force field. How much is it pushing or pulling something towards itself? How much is it swirling? How much is it blowing with wind? Okay, strength is basically the strength or the amount of the effect itself. Now in this case, I have a couple examples here that I've hand curated for you guys with a particle simulation. Now, this particle simulation on the left is what it would normally look like, where it says none right here. That's with nothing underneath of it, okay? So there's no force fields, the particles are just gonna fall at the natural rate of gravity, all right? So gravity is turned on for this scene. Now, as you can see right here on the right, we have our strength, flow, and line set up. So right underneath of our force field, we have a point force. So right here, we're using the line type. Now, this is just going to pull everything in a linear fashion, as you can see. So instead of these particles just falling, they actually gravitate towards our force field in a line. Now you'll notice there's this little dotted line around each force field right here. I went ahead and set up a maximum distance right here in the fall off settings. That way, each particle system in our examples aren't affected by one another. Now, if I was to go ahead and crank this up, you would notice how the other particles would also be attracted towards this force field. That's why I set that up as I did. Now you can see the strength is set the same for all of our force fields. They're all negative 100, but they all act slightly differently. Let's go ahead and go over the plane shape. Next up is plane, and as you can see, if I go ahead to our side view here, all of our particles are being collected in a flat plane sort of style. And that's basically the way that that force field shape is affected. The next one is point. That's pretty important because it just collects in the center. So when you have your force field and you see that empty shape, everything's just going to collect right in the center into one singular point. Now, you'll notice that I actually have two examples for the point here. The reason I did that, the point of me doing that, yes, pun intended, was to show you the difference between flow. Flow is also similar to strength in the way that it affects the strength of the force field itself. So you can see our flow is 0 on the left here, on the left example, and on the right-hand side, it is 10. And you can notice how much sort of stronger and more fluid everything is towards the center, whereas on the left-hand side, it's almost a little bit weaker and more sporadic. A good way to think about this is a hose compared to maybe a squirt gun, right? A squirt gun might shoot out water in just one go at a distance, okay, very forcefully, whereas a hose is more fluid and streamlined. So the stronger this flow is, the more it'll be attracted in sort of a more controlled fluid manner, whereas when our flow is 0 on the left, everything's going to be a little bit more sporadic. It'll still be attracted to the force field, but not in a sort of more fluid, kind of dynamic way. Okay, all right, so that is flow. And then next up we have surface. So as you know, we can apply force fields to objects as well. Now, if I click on this force field right here, you'll see under our shape, we have point, line, plane, and surface. I'm using the surface shape type here. And the reason I'm doing that is to show you how you can actually attract all of the particles to the surface of the object itself. So that's basically what's happening right there. All right, last but not least, we have the every point surface type. So you can see right here in our dropdown, we have point, line, plane, and surface, which we already went over, and every point is our last one, but certainly not least. Now, if I play this back, we have our same strength, which is negative 100, and a flow of 0. You can see as I play this back, everything's attracted to our force field, and we're not really sure what's happening. Now, what's actually happening is Blender is looking at every point on our shape or every vertex, and it's turning it into a force field with a strength of negative 100. And now we're actually going to go ahead and dive into each force field and how they work.